I'm joined here by Mick Marshall, who is an adaptive athlete. You have been partnered with Ultra for some time, and we've just been sitting and having a chat for the last hour or so all about your story. It's pretty incredible, Mick. I mean, you've gone from being an endurance athlete and running really long distances to having an incredibly horrific accident, and now getting back to the stage where you're doing endurance sports again and inspiring, I would argue, even more people with what you're able to achieve. You've got the team here with you today as well. We've got Aiden and we've got Flynn. You say Aiden's your right-hand man and Flynn is your documentarian who's going to be able to bring your incredible story to the screen.
Before my accident, I was an ultra-marathon athlete. After what was meant to be a normal day at work, my world was turned upside down.
Mick found endurance running when he turned 40. Marathons, ultramarathons, trail running, the physical and mental challenges of the sport gave him a new lease on life.
We made it with 1 hour to spare.
For the next decade, he would travel around Australia and the world competing, until one fateful day. He was working as a wind farm service technician, a job Mick loved. On the morning of April 6, 2021, while carrying out maintenance inside a turbine 110 metres up in the air, he slipped on a ladder. His legs got caught in the rungs as he fell. This braced his fall, but caused considerable damage to his feet and lower body.
You know, it was a normal work day and I was up the top where you go into the little bit that sits on the top of the pole. So you're 115 metres up in the air and I was climbing up and my backpack got caught and I reefed my backpack and I slipped off the ladder and I fell. But when I fell, my legs got caught in the ladder. And you can paint that picture yourself. And I knew my legs couldn't function. And so no rescue teams can come up. They're not allowed to. We couldn't get me down into the lift because I couldn't function with my legs. And the plan was to get me on the manual winch and lower me down from the tool chute. These things sway about a metre. And so I'm getting hit from pillar to post up there and I'm in a lot of pain. And I just tried to tune out as best I can. Now, that was the most traumatic thing I think I've ever been through in my life, and that was, I still have nightmares about it and I still get upset like right now about it because it's very triggering and it's very raw to me. Subconsciously or unconsciously, that stuck with me for a long time. I got diagnosed with conditions afterwards and I've had 8 major surgeries on my legs, 2 total foot reconstructions. And so I had to learn to walk again 3 times over the surgeries, get up, get on the crutches, move again, jog again, get going again. And every time it got harder and harder. My whole life was turned upside down.
His body was so compromised mentally and physically, it decided to shut down to try and protect him. This led to complex regional pain syndrome, which meant living with chronic pain every day since. He was also diagnosed with depression, anxiety, PTSD, loss of identity disorder, and adjustment disorder. After 3 years of heavy pain medication, litigation, legal battles, and 8 surgeries to try and reconstruct his lower body, remarkably, Mick emerged from the fog and turned his attention to recovery.
I slowly weaned myself off the meds. And that was a hell of a journey. But we made this commitment, we decided to stick to it, and the protocol was pretty much get up, straight into an ice bath or a cold shower, wake myself up so that I'm right to go for the day. But it's teaching my brain that I can move, biomechanically still move in a way, so it's helping rewire the system. Yeah, I'd done that for 90 days and that was probably my resurrection, I'd say.
Ditching the meds for an holistic rehab journey, focused on learning how his body worked and exploring everything at his disposal from saunas, ice baths, breath work, and even barefoot training.
It is true, the only way that you can overcome your fears is to actually face them, and it's not easy.
His run in Ballarat, his hometown, was meant to be a farewell to the sport he loved. But something happened at that finish line that would shift the trajectory of his life once more.
I turned around at the finish line And again, I'll get quite emotional because it is raw to me. There were so many people just cheering me on. Like, I'm talking 1,000 people or something. And somebody actually said, I wonder what the world record is for running a marathon on crutches. And that was enough for me. And I looked it up and I thought, righto, it's 7 hours was the record. And I thought, shit, it took me just a tick over 4 hours to do half a marathon. But bugger it, let's go. It gave me something to do. And you got no idea how much I needed that at the time. I needed to have a feeling of belonging somewhere because I was so bloody lost in my life. And I said to my treaters, this is what I'm going to do. And they all said, you're nuts.
He went on to break a world record at the Melbourne Marathon for the fastest marathon on crutches for someone with 2 compromised lower limbs, and now has a packed event schedule for 2025, planning to go for another world record in his hometown in April, the fastest marathon on crutches. Mick was sponsored by Ultra Running prior to his fall, and they stuck by him through it all. He'd also been using the Foot Collective's training during his recovery to restore the function of his feet. So when Ultra's co-founder Brian Beckstead visited our TFC hub in Brisbane, all the way from the US, we knew we had to fly Mick up too to meet the people behind the brands who had his back.
I'm so grateful to Ultra for sticking with me, and they stuck with me all the way through this accident.
Jim Dooner, our head of training, took Brian, Mick and the team through some foot and balance training before Mick got some one-on-one time with Jim for more tailored tips to support his ongoing rehab. Complex regional pain syndrome can strike at any time, so Mick has to always be prepared.
And I'm smiling, but I'm in pain. I've come out here to do my morning routine.
My body, was completely shot in my legs, and I'm thinking, what have I done? What have I bloody done here? For God's sake, what have I done, to deserve this? I'm a guy that just had his shit together. I loved the running, and it's gone.
He doesn't go anywhere without his red backpack, stocked with everything he needs to make it through the most grueling competitions. Good luck, Mick, on your next run, mate. We will be behind you every step of the way.